War broke out in Iran, and Ayatollah Khamenei has already been taken down. And I just want to point out that we have two absolute truths from which I'm going to draw some conclusions. The first is that Iran is a theocratic dictatorship that indiscriminately violates human rights, as seen during the recent protests. And furthermore, it carries a violent rhetoric that openly declares the total destruction of Israel as one of its objectives. The second is that the aggressors are not acting for freedom, democracy, or for the Iranian people, and maybe not even for the security of the Israelis themselves, but to save their own skins. And possibly for geostrategic interests. I'll tell you why in a moment. In the case of Netanyahu, he is facing serious corruption trials, like cases 1000, 2000, and 4000, in which he received gifts from major companies in exchange for tax favors. Multimillionaires being multimillionaires just to survive. The Prime Minister is colluding with far-right parties like Ozma Yehudit and the Religious Zionist Party, both ultra-Zionist parties, which threaten to leave the coalition if Netanyahu accepts a definitive peace in Palestine or seeks negotiations with Iran. Bibi has no choice then, but to present himself as a strong leader who prioritizes Israel's security. In Trump's case, it's something similar. His popularity has continued to decline, especially since the Epstein case. A perfect smokescreen, as we say in my country, to cover up the high possibility that the most powerful man on the planet is a pincodio. Now let's talk about geopolitics. Everyone knows about Iran's great ace up its sleeve, closing the Strait of Hormuz. Everyone knows that 20% of the world's oil and 25% of natural gas pass through here. Everyone knows that since it's a strait only 39 kilometers wide, it's very easy to block. And that this would cause an immediate energy crisis that would send oil prices skyrocketing. What not many people know is that every crisis can benefit some and harm others. Nowadays, the United States is one of the largest net exporters of energy. Fracking. In fact, by the way, the higher the price of a barrel of crude oil, more tax revenue for the United States government as long as they maintain a good balance with internal costs. The biggest loser from the closure of the strait would be none other than China. Its largest import product is crude oil, which represents 14.1%. Its main suppliers are Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Oman, the United Arab Emirates, and Kuwait. In other words, not only will they have to pay more for energy, but their main sources would be blocked. In fact, the Asian giant has already spoken out about this and is not exactly happy with the attacks on Iran. So remember, in geopolitics there are never good intentions, only strategic interests, and why not, personal interests of the powerful.